Okay, you guys, I am so excited. I just made basically a whole online course for you guys. I was actually the things that always work out the best are the things that I make that I need, and then I do research and see how many other people need it. And this is one of those things. I, like a lot of people, maybe you, because of the state of the world and the state of life that a lot of us are in, I have been really struggling with anxiety and panic and just unwanted, negative, fearful thoughts that turn into anxiety attacks. And whether you just have negative thoughts once in a while, or whether it's become a part of your life that's holding you back, this is gonna really help you. So this came to me actually in the middle of the night, and then I've spent the last 12 hours, about 12 hours, putting this together. I woke up in the middle of the night. I was kind of having a panic attack, and then I was just like, oh my gosh, I just need some kind of visualization to give to myself, that I can think my way through this and go back to sleep. And so this is actually what came as soon as I thought that. It's like my brain was like, I know something. I'll put this together for you. So it's called Among the Trains, and I just am so excited about it because it's helping me already, and I know it's going to help you. So there's a whole big PDF, and after you watch the following video explaining the whole concept of this, then I'll come back and tell you what to do with this. Super excited. I hope you'll do it. I know it will help. Or if you don't struggle with anxiety, see, this says a new way to deal with anxiety, fear, and negative thoughts. If you don't, will you please pass this on to someone who does? Because I promise you, they are looking for some tools to get through this really weird time in the world and really weird time in life. And this will help. I promise. Okay? So here we go. Something that's really awesome about our bodies and our brains is that whatever we're thinking, our body responds to it as if it were real. So, something that's also really dangerous about having a body and a brain is that whatever we're thinking, our body responds to it as if it were real. Now, this is both really awesome and really dangerous, because you can make your life so much better because of it, and you can also make your life so much worse and so much harder because of it. And it all starts with what you do when a thought comes up. You can either let the thought take you down if it's a negative, scary thought, or you can design a new thought to overpower it, a thought that takes you where you actually want to go. And it takes practice. And at first, it doesn't feel like it's working at all. But once you get the hang of it, it becomes a habit. In fact, whatever you do most becomes a habit. So, if you get totally paralyzed by your thoughts, that becomes a habit. And if you learn to design thoughts that create better consequences for your life, that becomes a habit. And don't feel bad if you have the habit of getting hijacked and paralyzed by thoughts that show up in your life, because most people do. It's important to validate what's happened in your life and how you're feeling. So you can put your hands over your heart and say, I feel scared, I feel sad, I feel angry, I feel like I'm not good enough. In fact, it helps to say it out loud and get it out of your body. It helps to write it out too. That helps get it out of your body too. You can journal, you can say it out loud. The important thing is to remember that you are not your thoughts. And also that just because you are thinking something, it doesn't mean it's true. And there are things you can do when you're thinking thoughts that make your body act like they're true. Thoughts that aren't so good for your life. There's things you can do about that. There's a myth, though, that you can just stop thinking painful and scary thoughts. And so you try and you fail, because it's actually not really possible to stop thoughts. So when the thoughts come, you just have to decide what you're going to do, because they are going to come through your brain like a fast-moving train. And that's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about these thoughts like a fast-moving train that's on a track and it's just going to go by. In fact, human beings have between 60 and 90,000 thoughts per day. That's a lot of trains going by all the time. I bet that's what it feels like in your head sometimes. So I want you to try something. I I want you to think of yourself in a really cool truck. Imagine whatever truck you want. It could even be a car. Whatever it is, it's yours and yours alone, and it's unique. So I'm going to choose a really cool old vintage turquoise truck. You can choose that too if you want. This vehicle takes you through life. It's your will, your choices, your decisions, your life force. Now, imagine that life is busy all around you. Everybody's in their really cool, unique vehicles. You're in yours too. You're driving down the road of life, and so is everybody else. Then you come to the railroad tracks, and there are some trains going by really fast. These are your thoughts. Every once in a while, or maybe really often, you're driving down a road trying to get somewhere, and suddenly you have to cross some railroad tracks. And either a train is coming, a thought is coming, or it's already there. A thought is already there. Either way, you've got to stop, or that train is going to stop you. It's going to stop you by running right into you. It's going to mow you over, or it's just going to stop you on your trajectory. Imagine that this train is the thoughts of fear, failure, stuckness, not enoughness, rejection, sadness, anger, resentment, jealousy, but mostly fear. It's the same old thoughts that show up time after time, just like a train on a schedule. So now, I want you to imagine that this time, you're not going to get hit by this train, but you're also not going to get on this train. In the past, maybe you've stood right on the tracks and let that train pummel you over. Maybe you're just too tired to fight it. Maybe it feels inevitable, so you just decide to get it over with. And days will go by with you getting smashed and destroyed by the thoughts of this train until the train is finally done going by, and then you just lay there on the tracks trying to recover from what it did to you. You end up losing more days, feeling so weak and destroyed and defeated, and knowing that another train is coming. It's rough. So let's try a different way. What if you knew the train was coming? And what if you also knew that there were all sorts of trains all around inside your brain all the time, doing what they do? And what if you decided to stop and let the trains go by, but you also decided that you are going to stop and take time to design some new thoughts? What if every time a particularly vicious train showed up, you decided that this is a perfect time to stop and create some new thoughts and do some new things and tell yourself the truth about who you are and what life is, and you took charge of where your vehicle goes and doesn't go, even if the trains are whizzing by constantly? Let's just try it for a minute. Let's say a very loud train is constantly going by and saying, "You are not enough, you are not enough, you are not enough, you are not enough, you are not enough." Well, you have some choices, friend. Just know that this train is in the brain of almost every person alive. It's not just you. It's just a brain train that's doing what it does. It doesn't even do it personally. It's not even personal. But man, it can feel personal. Well, you have got to stay in your awesome vehicle and then stop when you see that train coming and let the train go by. Not stand in front of it and get run over by it, and not ask it to stop and pick you up so you can ride through your entire day hearing that message, "You are not enough, you are not enough, you are not enough," over and over again. You don't even want to stop and focus on it going by. Because when you focus on the message of this brain train, you'll start acting like it's true. You'll act like you're not good enough. So you'll choose words that people say who aren't good enough. And you'll choose relationships like you're someone who's not good enough. And you'll let other people treat you like you're not good enough. And suddenly you'll be living a life like you're not good enough. So you cannot get on that train or even focus on that train. But the train is there, and sometimes it takes a while for it to pass by. It's just part of life. So while it's passing by, you got to focus on something else. There are people all around you who can tell you wonderful things about you and your life. But if you're still focused on the train, it doesn't stop. It doesn't even help. It doesn't help much when other people are trying to help you. And often you'll be alone when the fastest, biggest, loudest, meanest trains go by. So you've got to learn to manage this by yourself. But how do you do that? Well, you have to stop and you have to decide and you have to keep practicing because it takes some time to learn how to do this. Decide not to get hit by the train. Decide not to get on the train, and decide not to focus on the train while it's going by. So let's say you've had to stop your vehicle and wait for that train to pass by. Now, you've got to do something else while it's passing by, so you don't focus on the train and what it's saying the whole time it's passing by. It might be a short train and it might be a long train, and you just never know. But either way, it is the perfect opportunity for you to stop and create a new thing to focus on while the train is going by. So you're at the stop sign and you're in your vehicle. Now that your vehicle is stopped, look around you. Now, even get out of your vehicle. You can totally get out of your vehicle and look somewhere else while it's stopped, letting the train go by. See the sky, hear the birds, feel the breeze. See all those people who love you around you. See the plants and animals and the goodness all around you. That's the stuff we all miss when we're focused on the train going by. So let's try to see what happens when we let trains do what they do and we do something else while we're waiting for them to go by. Let's design some new thoughts. You see, you can either let your imagination terrorize you when you're trying to fix your scary and sad and mean thoughts, or you can let your imagination help you by focusing on something else entirely, knowing that those other thoughts are still there in the background. Sometimes the mean and scary and sad and awful and negative thoughts won't go away for a while. That's just part of life. So you have to train your brain instead of getting hit by your brain train. I'm going to take you through some fun and easy exercises that will give you tools to tell yourself the truth instead of getting screamed at by brain trains that tell you lies and mess up your day. Sometimes mess up your week and your month and your year and your life. When you tell yourself the truth that you are enough, you'll start to act like you're enough. You'll do things that people who are enough do. You'll have relationships that people who are enough have. You'll treat yourself like people who are enough treat themselves. So we're going to go through 12 of the most common brain trains, and you'll decide what you'll do when those trains are going by in your head. You're the only one who can do it too. So many people love you and wish they could do it for you, but you're the only one in your brain, and so you got to be the one who trains it. So let's go. No, let's stop. Let's stop and recognize and validate the brain trains running through our head, and then let's stop and decide what we're going to do while they're going by. Are you ready? Let's do it. All right, wasn't that awesome? Okay, so what I have for you is a kit that you can use for art journaling through this, or making truth cards, whatever. There's even just straight up journaling prompts. You could just journal about it, or you could talk to somebody, that's struggling with this. You could ask them these questions. So the whole dialogue that I just said in that video is in here. It's about 4 pages if you want to read it again instead of just listen. And then there's some pictures of the dang train. It says, "Everything is terrible. I'm here to plow you down." And then the truck and the stop sign. And then is this little diagram that I found about loving yourself. And I want you to take a look at this. This is just really good information that will explain why this works. It's from lifehack.org. And then there's all the 12 thoughts. So sometimes I think I'm not good enough, so I act like I'm not good enough. Sometimes I think that things will never change, so I act like things will never change. Sometimes I think I can't do what others can do, so I act like I can't do what others can do. Sometimes I think I'm not as lucky as other people are, so I act like I'm not as lucky as other people are. Sometimes I don't think I'll ever be successful, so I act like I will never be successful. Sometimes I think that no one likes me, so I act like no one likes me. Sometimes I think I should be better at life, so I act like I'm not good at life. Sometimes I think I'm not strong enough, so I act like I'm not strong enough. Sometimes I think no one cares about me, so I act like no one cares about me. Sometimes I think I'm not smart enough, so I act like I'm not smart enough. Sometimes I think if things don't go perfectly, I'm a failure, so I act like a failure. Sometimes I think that bad things are going to happen, so I act like bad things are going to happen, or that they're already happening. So there's all of these, and they're perfectly sized to go with the stop sign. So you could even put front and back, telling yourself to stop. Or you could paste those, in an art journal one after another. But then there's a worksheet for every single one of those negative thoughts. And I found those negative thoughts by researching what are the most common negative thoughts people have that affect their life. And there were 10 of them, and then I added 2 more. But then for each one of those negative thoughts, there's a worksheet. And so there's 2 questions, 2 journaling questions, like for the I'm not good enough. Sometimes I think I'm not good enough. And then the first question is, how do I act when I think I'm not good enough? And how do I wish I could think and act even if the thought that I'm not good enough is flying by? And then, so that's the train. That's the thoughts, the negative thoughts that are just running by. And there's all of them are in there. And then this is the truck and the stop where you tell yourself the truth. And so with these, you can make truth cards or whatever. So they say for the I'm not good enough. And there's different ones for every single one of the 12. So this will keep you busy for a while. So you can make, like I said, you can make truth cards or an art journal, whatever. I'll share mine with you after I make them. So, for I'm not good enough, you tell yourself the truth. I'm learning, growing, becoming. I do so many good things. I'm on my own path. Everyone goes at a different pace. Everyone is good at different things. Everyone has strengths and limitations too. My strengths and limitations are different than anyone else's. I'm not going to compare myself to anyone else. I get to choose what I will improve every day. I am good at lots of things. I can learn something new right now. I can practice something I want to be good at right now. I can tell myself the things I need to hear. I can do something right now that I am good at. I really am enough. So it just goes, from lies to truth. So that's what we got. I hope that you resonated with this. I hope it will help you. And I hope you'll pass it on to anybody else that it might help. Because, man, anxiety is running high these days. And I actually have to tell you, I also made this for a friend of mine who's a certified instructor. She's a friend now. She works with teens. And she called me over the weekend and said, I need something to help these teens get a hold of their thoughts and see themselves as valuable and as capable of working through the difficult parts of life. And so just so you know, I also made this for those kids. And so this will work for any age. Okay. So pass it on. Help people with it. Help yourself. Okay. Let me know what you think. And like I said, I will come back later and show you my samples and the things that I'm making with it. And I also have 12 more brain trains that I will add to next month. So I love you guys. Just keep taking care of yourselves. Don't get hit by that train. Don't get on that train. Don't focus on that train. Go figure out what you need to be okay. And you're worth it. You're worth whatever it takes to do that. I love you. Mwah.